Sawasdee krap, and good afternoon. This is the summary for the 24th of November, Wednesday, 24th of November 2021 here at the Center for COVID Situation Administration, or CCSA. So first of all, thank you to Dr. Sumani Wacharasin for the Thai language version of the summary. She mentioned a couple of very important issues. I'll recap the data and the issues that she mentioned, and in addition to the other parts of the information that will be useful for the English language audience. First of all, one issue she mentioned was about the situation in certain provinces, also including in our border provinces with neighboring countries. There are some provinces in Thailand which have been finding more than 100 positive cases per day. And to connect and interplay that with the ATK, it was found that provinces with over 100 cases per day are the provinces which have used the ATK testing at a very low level. So that's the kind of information that we're going deep into to remedy and to increase and expand the testing capacity in the various provinces with higher number of infections than other provinces. Also about neighboring countries. Now, the situation now is that there are illegal entries from various neighboring countries around Thailand coming into Thailand. Now, we, of course, at the CCSA, recognize the situation that we have in terms of the economic needs of businesses as well as the labor shortage as well. But we have been reminding many sectors, the business sectors, the manufacturing sector, labor groups as well, to, of course, even if there is that need for labor to come into Thailand at this period of time, it is very important to bring in import labor, of course, through the legal means and not through any illegal means. That, of course, will be one important measure in preventing the spread of COVID-19 in Thailand. So we have asked for the cooperation from all sectors, including the business sector as well. Dr. Sumani also mentioned some information about the vaccination progress as well as the numbers, which I'll go into for today, the schools as well. Now, just to note first that this Saturday, the 27th of November, is actually National Health Day in Thailand. So that on that day, well, towards that day, we will continue to encourage everyone to get vaccinated in the country, everyone living on Thai soil to get vaccinated, because getting vaccinated against COVID will, of course, prevent the severity of the infection on the human body. So the 27th of November is actually in commemoration of the 60th anniversary of the establishment of the Ministry of Public Health. So I'll move on to the update on the Thailand Pass on entry into Thailand. So as of 9 a.m. today, we have logged a total of 285,805 applications on the Thailand Pass system. And of that number, a total of 226,490 have been approved, and of which 119,018 were auto-approved. And you see the graph there on screen, although it's in Thai, the inclining bars. Also, during the 1st to the 23rd of November, we have logged in 94,756 travelers entering into Thailand. And of this number, the majority, or 73,383 travelers, entered via the Test and Go system, or the Quarantine Exemption scheme. There are 17,319 travelers who entered through the Sandbox scheme in the various provinces, and 4,054 entered with quarantine, including both the 7-day quarantine and 10-day quarantine. The majority of international travelers come from these top 10 countries of origin: the United States, Germany, Netherlands, UK, Japan, Russia, France, Republic of Korea, Israel, and the UAE. Out of the total number of travelers, 126 tested positive or 0.13%. This means that the requirements we put in place are actually helping to screen out COVID positive persons from the majority of incoming travelers. And for those who are planning to travel to Thailand, as I mentioned on Monday, please make sure to book the SHA Plus or SHA Extra Plus hotels. These hotels meet our safety and health standards and are eligible to use as hotels under the Sandbox Programme, as well as venues to wait for your RT-PCR result under the Exemption from Quarantine scheme. Now, I was informed that the drop-down box in the Thailand Pass system actually requires you to click a hotel which is already preset, hotels which are in the SHA system. However, if you click that, but you attach a document from another hotel, of course that will be rejected. So in order to avoid any unnecessary inconveniences when you arrive at the airport, the package you booked should include the post-arrival RT-PCR test as well as transportation to the hotel. And once again, those who are still awaiting their approval or may have further inquiries on the Thailand Pass system, you can call the call center, and the numbers and QR code is on screen for you there. On the vaccination drive, yesterday we administered 557,392 doses of vaccine, increasing the accumulated number to almost 90 million doses. You see that on the top right box on screen. 65.3% of Thailand's population have now received their first dose, while more than 55%, or almost 40 million people, have now received their second dose. Now, just mind you that all provinces in Thailand have sufficient supply of vaccine and have the capacity to make the shots inoculation. Of course, this is in line with our plans that we are opening up our country and returning back to the new normal lifestyle. And for the vaccination with pilot tourism provinces like Phuket and other provinces, we have some statistics of provinces which actually have a high percentage of inoculation and some with actually low rate. So I'll start with the high first. In the pilot tourism provinces, we have, for example, in Chonburi province, 88.2% of the population have already received their first dose. In Phuket, 86% their first dose. In Chiang Mai, almost 80% their first dose. Now, some provinces with lower rates of vaccination are provinces like Sa Kaeo, Ubon Ratchathani, Khon Kaen, and Phitsanulok. So the CCSA continues to push for this accelerated vaccination drive nationwide and to promote the COVID-free settings in the workplace and public areas across the country. For vaccination registration for Thais and foreigners in December, I have some information and a slide coming up for you. For those aged 12 to 17 and have never received any vaccination, in this scheme, they will receive Pfizer plus Pfizer, while those who are 18 and above will get AstraZeneca plus Pfizer. Those who have been vaccinated with Sinovac and Sinopharm will receive AstraZeneca as booster shot. And these vaccination sites are in Bang Sue Central Station, Fashion Island, and Asia Teak. And you have the QR code on the infographic there on screen for you for the current scheme. This is attached to the mobile phone service as well. Now, please note that this registration is made available for both Thai nationals and foreign nationals living on Thai soil. Moving to the general situation and numbers that we have for today, new confirmed cases, as you see on screen, 5,857 recorded for today. We have active cases currently being treated at 81,577, of which 1,529 are in critical condition and 358 are on ventilators, just to illustrate so you can see the actual situation, the actual picture. New recoveries is higher than the new confirmed cases. New cases that we have today, we have more recoveries than additional cases. New recoveries stands at 7,318. And we have, unfortunately, new fatalities at 55 cases. Overall, in Thailand, it remains stable, although some provinces in the northern and central regions have reported a higher number of new cases. This includes Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, Lamphun, Phitsanulok, and Singhburi province. And as usual, we have the top 10 provinces. The ones with green numbers are those provinces with cases that are declining, that are less than the previous day. And those numbers in red are those that provinces with number of cases higher than the previous day. And the top, as you see on screen, Bangkok, Songkhla, and Nakhon Si Thammarat to date. For the fatalities, 55 fatalities. Out of that 55, we have 40 fatalities, which are in the elderly group, 60 and above. We have 14 fatalities who are younger than 60 years old and have underlying health conditions. And we have 41 of that number of the total fatalities today who were not vaccinated. So around 75% of those who were included in the fatality number for today, around 75% were those who were not vaccinated. So we continue to encourage everyone eligible to get vaccinated as soon as possible to protect themselves, their families, and of course to save lives. Local transmissions continue to occur in communities, families, and social gatherings, and clusters are still recurring in some risk venues. The CCSA encourages everyone to continue to keep their guard up and abide by the recommended health and safety measures. One good news yesterday was about the continued support from our friends around the world. So on Monday, Monday, Thailand received 1,020,000 doses of Moderna vaccine from the government of the United States to support Thailand in combating COVID. This reflects the cordial and long-standing ties between the two countries and the mutual determination to mitigate the impact of the pandemic. And you have some images on screen there for you. This is the second time that Thailand has received vaccines from our good friend, the United States. And we are grateful for this and thank the United States for the continued support. And you have some images there at the government house on screen, also just now at the airport as well. In terms of the vaccination for students, after the reopening of many schools nationwide, the CCSA, of course, we understand that many parents are concerned about the safety of children and continue to support the accelerated vaccination for students around the country. And as of yesterday, we have a figure here for you. As of yesterday, more than 90% of the 4.6 million students nationwide who have given consent for vaccination have now received their first dose. So actually that's a high number for students, 90% having their first dose in Thailand already. The Prime Minister has also reminded schools to strictly observe disease prevention measures to create safe, COVID-19 free settings for students and also for teachers. So just in closing, on Friday, the CCSA will hold its bi-weekly general meeting, the general CCSA meeting, to assess the situation and consider the efficacy of existing disease control measures. And as usual, the meeting will be chaired by the Prime Minister and will consider issues such as the categorization or recategorization, changes in the categorization of the zones, of the disease control zones, and other related measures. In addition, the existing emergency decree in Thailand, which also runs until the 30th of November 2021, will also be considered. So we can expect the meeting on this Friday to deliberate on these issues. And the CCSA briefing on Friday will recap the general meeting for you and update everything, every important issue for you as always. So in the meantime, please take care and please stay safe. With that note, I thank you for your attention. สวัสดีครับ
ครับขอบพระคุณนะครับ